Welcome to Know Your Universe, our series where we go on explaining things that you might be lacking knowledge in. This series is mostly covered on our CTV channel, a link to which you can find in the description down below, but once in a while we still make something for it over here. So today, what are Omega level mutants? We don't fully know or understand Omega level mutants. Omega and Alpha level mutants are terms loosely thrown around by writers to categorize various mutants. This means that it sits basically just as a term used for insanely powerful mutants. Mutants who are in theory the most powerful class of mutants. But the problem is that this term gets thrown around so loosely that at times it could be used to classify every mutant in existence. It gets very loosey-goosey after that, so it's pretty much safe to assume that Omega level mutants are the most powerful most of the time. Regardless of what it actually classifies, there are a select number of mutants that are considered Omega level by everyone across the board. Now, this list does move around depending on where you look at it, so I'm going to go over the mutants that I found on all of the corresponding lists. If they weren't on all of the lists, I didn't put them into this list. Seems like the safest bet, so if your favorite Omega level mutant isn't on this list, well, I guess he didn't make somebody's list out there. Keep in mind, this will only be brief information on each of them, as we have full videos or will have full videos on all of their origins and histories. So someone that is on everyone's Omega level list is Jean Grey. She is a super powerful telepathic telekinetic mutant and a favorite of the Phoenix Force, which is one of the cosmic entities. Jean has the ability to manipulate the minds of others, which includes forcing them to do things, changing their memories, or even straight up mind-wiping people. When she's possessed by the Phoenix, these powers grow to an insane level. Her telekinetic abilities give her the power to levitate, move matter, and manipulate it. Even stimulate molecules to create heat and even make concussive blasts strong enough to throw anybody around. Following her, we have Hope Summers. She is the first mutant born after M-Day, the day in which all of the mutants were wiped from existence. She has the power of empathic power mimicry. Basically, she can physically manipulate and mimic the powers of other mutants. She has also shown a lot of unspecified powers, such as being immune to things such as Rogue's power, or being able to wipe out all of Rogue's stored powers, or even be able to wipe out various viruses. Since she's able to mimic anyone's power, she has infinite power, and her only weakness is that she needs to be near the mutants to take their powers. She has shown everything from telepathic abilities, telekinesis, energy blasts, and the ability to jumpstart newly developed mutant powers. Lesion is next on her list. He is the son of Charles Xavier and has the Omega level power to spontaneously create mutations of varying ability. He can basically do anything, and he makes a new personality to be the host of each one of these new powers that he creates, forcing him to be a very unstable individual as each of these personalities are trying to fight for control of his body. Elixir is a mutant capable of controlling the biological structure of his own mind and other people's bodies. He can, in theory, rewrite someone's genetic structure and produce biomolecule energy at will to heal any wound he takes or anyone else takes. This literally allows him to change his body in any way that he wants, from healing to activating mutant powers to repairing your mental functions. It is theorized that he could even rewrite a person's genome however he sees fit. Kid Omega is an Omega level telepath that has evolved into a non-corporeal life form existing as a disembodied consciousness. This guy can force everyone around him to do whatever he wants and basically influences everyone. He was a weaker individual at first, but he quickly learned his powers, and when he was given a power-enhancing drug called Kick, Emma Frost stated that his brain contained several thousand brilliant thoughts a second. During Endsong, he was shown to have telekinetic abilities, the ability to fly and tear apart buildings as he flew through them. He could also pull a body out of the ground and resurrect them for a bit. Iceman, aka Bobby Drake. This guy is a fan favorite, and everyone loves to say, Iceman is an Omega level mutant. Well, this is kinda true. He himself hasn't shown this power. What everyone is referring to is the time that Emma Frost possessed Iceman to discover the fate of her Hellions. She was able to control all forms of moisture, freeze fluids inside people's bodies, and travel as a liquid, solid, or gas. No one was able to stop Emma Frost in Iceman's body, and basically since Emma Frost discovered that since Iceman can control and manipulate moisture to make his powers work, he is an Omega level mutant because he can control anything with liquid and moisture. He even discovered recently that he can make ice structures that act independently of him, though one of them did join the evil Brotherhood of Mutants in the future. Psylocke is an Omega level telepath that only saw the full extent of her powers when they were unlocked by Jean Grey in the Age of Apocalypse storyline. As with most telepaths, she can project thoughts and images over great distances, control minds, tap into other people's powers, cut them off, affect memories, and use Psybolts as a form of energy projection. Franklin Richards is an odd one because he is considered a mutant because he was born with his powers. And much like Lesion, he can do whatever he wants. For Franklin, he doesn't have every mutant power, he has the power to warp reality as he sees fit. And I do mean he can change anything. He has even created entire realities for the superheroes he adores and have had nothing bad happen to them. There's even a running fan theory that maybe we'll do a video on one day that the Marvel Universe's timeline is all screwy because of Franklin Richards. It's better explained in another video, but basically time moved normal in the Marvel Universe until his birth. 1 year in the real world was 1 year in comic time. But when he was born, time seemed to shift and move. The theory is that Franklin wants the world to stay where he wants it, like keeping Spider-Man 20 for 20 years, because Franklin liked a young Spider-Man. Lastly, I'm going to count Matthew Molloy on my own list. This was a recent character in the Uncanny X-Men books, and I told Rob at Comics Explained about it, and he went ahead and made a whole video about it. I'll link that down below. But basically, he was a mutant that could alter and change reality as he saw fit, that Professor X deemed so powerful that he placed a mental block on him to prevent his powers from manifesting. Well, the block wore off and his powers manifested, and while Cyclops and Magneto tried to convince Matthew to come with them and learn about his powers, he was deemed too uncontrollable to be of any use to any side of the X-Men war. He ended up wiping out various important individuals from existence, and it took the mutant Tempest going back in time to prevent his parents from ever meeting to prevent his birth to save everyone. It's a great self-contained story that I do want to cover soon. Anyway, that is all of the Omega level mutants that are on most lists, plus the one that I added. Like I said at the start, the term is very loosely used to cover all super powerful mutants, so it can pretty much cover anyone you want. Let me know in the comments down below who you think should be an Omega level mutant. Are you in the crowd that thinks Storm should be an Omega level mutant? Should Wolverine? I mean, the guy never dies. Let me know in the comments down below who you think should be on this list, and I'll see you guys next time right here.